My name is Melissa Nelson, and I'm going to be giving a presentation over the Technology Integration Unit project that I created for ETEC 562. The content of this presentation has theories and pedagogy, the technologies integrated, a unit overview, an instructional design model, and the lesson plans. The theories and pedagogy. The unit follows the social development theory developed by Lev Vygotsky. Vygotsky says that social interaction plays a large role in the development of cognition. Vygotsky believed in the zone of proximal development, or ZPD, which simply put is what a student can do with help and what a student can do without help. Scaffolding plays a major role in my unit where the teacher takes on the role of facilitator and students are responsible for their own learning. You'll see as the presentation goes through that these students are really working together as a group to get the information that they need for their project, and there is little interaction from the teacher. It's really just guidance and help if they need, help with the technologies that are integrated, or perhaps just a little help going in the right direction with what they're trying to do. There are a few technologies that I have integrated. The first technology is YouTube. There is a specific YouTube video that I would like for my students to watch whenever they are creating their project. I have inserted it in here. It is a lengthy video, but the students have enough time within the project to utilize class time to watch the whole video, so it shouldn't be a problem. The second technology that I've integrated is a TED Ed lesson. It talks about Christopher Columbus, and it really goes more into the questions of, did Columbus do things that helps people? Was he a villain? And you'll see why this was a particularly important one that I wanted them to watch for the lesson as we go further in. The final technology that I integrated was Prezi. Prezi is something that my school pays for, so the students are able to utilize this whenever they would like, at no cost to them. So it's something that I think is a really great technology to integrate, especially if you have the means to do it without having to pay for it out of pocket yourself. The unit overview, the lesson that I'm going to be doing is going to focus on fifth graders in a social studies classroom. It would be from the Unit 3 of the TEACS resource system, Coming to America, Exploring and Colonizing America. During this unit, the students study about the European colonization of the Americas, and they learn about the economic patterns that were established by those colonists and the establishment of the representative government in the colonies. The suggested duration for this is 10 days, and I think that that's a really, it's a good start for this. There's wiggle room within the YAG if you need, a couple of extra days, or you find that your class is moving a little bit quicker and you don't need all 10 days. But 10 days, I think, is a great starting point for this. Some of the performance indicators that were listed in this, um, the unit understandings that went along with the PA for Unit 3's PA1 was that Europeans began exploring and colonizing in North America for a variety of reasons. What motivated the explorers to go to America? What area of the Americas were claimed by France, by Spain, by Great Britain? Why does the United States celebrate Columbus Day? All of the research that the students will be doing within this lesson should help them to successfully complete the performance assessment 1 for Unit 3. The instructional design model that I used was the backward design model. It is by Wiggins and McTeague, and it has 3 really simple steps: identify the desired results, determine acceptable evidence of learning, and design the learning experience and instruction. Okay, for the lesson plan, we call this Christopher Columbus hero or villain. I thought this would be a really fun one that students could get into and kind of make their own opinion. Like, what do they think Christopher Columbus was? Was he the hero that, we celebrate him for, or was something more sinister at play? The intended audience, fifth grade students in a social studies classroom. As I stated earlier, the unit is slotted for 10 days. There is some wiggle room if you need to add more or simply take away a couple days. All right, my lesson plan instructional objectives. Lesson one should just take a day. The students are going to fill out a KWL chart about Christopher Columbus, and they will recognize the significance of Christopher Columbus's voyage to America. Lesson two should take about 3 days. In assigned groups, the students will conduct background reading using the handout that I provide. The students will begin conducting research with 2 mandatory videos to watch, which were the ones I showed you earlier that were on YouTube and TED Ed. All the other research is completely up to them. So, like I stated earlier, the students are completely in charge of their own learning. Their social interaction with each other is going to help create meaning in that learning. I am simply a facilitator. I've given them two concrete things that I want them to look at, but other than that, they are completely in charge of their own learning. Lesson three is going to take about 3 days. In assigned groups, the students are going to conduct a Why Explore activity. They will gather knowledge and meaning of exploration through their interaction with each other as well as their previous research. And then in the final lesson, which should take about 3 days, the students are going to gather the information into a Prezi presentation. They'll present it to the class and they will justify why they think Columbus was a hero or a villain. So, day one, the teacher will introduce the topic of Christopher Columbus and inform students of the main goals of the project to decide whether Columbus was a hero or a villain. Excuse me. The teacher will inform students of technologies that will be utilized, mandatory websites to visit, and group information. Other than that, the students will pretty much be on their own after we do the whole group KWL chart. So we will be working on filling out the know portion, what we know or think we know about Christopher Columbus, and then what we want to know about him and his journey, what we're hoping to get out of this lesson. Lesson number two should take 3 days. The students are going to read the provided handout from me. This is just a brief history of Christopher Columbus, and then they will begin their group research by whatever means they prefer, but they must use the YouTube and TED Ed as part of their research. Other than that, if they want to go to the library, if they want to use books, if they want to go to Wikipedia, their research and their learning is completely up to them. Lesson number three should take 3 days. The students are going to conduct a Why Explore activity in their assigned groups. There will be a prompt, and they're going to discuss between one another what they think the answer is to it and come up with a response that can be supported by facts from their research. So, once again, this is something that the students will be doing as a group together. They'll be interacting with one another to convey meaning into their own learning. So, they'll be looking at these sources, reading them, and then answering it to hopefully give them some concrete things that they can put into their presentation. It's a 4 sources, and then at the end they can summarize what they thought the motivation to explore was. Was it for good purposes, or was there something more sinister at play? Lesson number four is going to be 3 days. The students will gather all the information they've collected through the whole group KWL chart, their independent research, and the Why Explore activities to conduct their presentation on Prezi. The students will present the presentation to the class in their groups. They'll make a final stance on whether they think Columbus was a hero or a villain. And after all the presentations have been given, the teacher will assemble the class to whole group fill out the learn portion of the KWL chart, since it will be the very last thing that they have to do for that. I have a page of references if you would like to go look at these videos for yourself. And that is all. Thank you so much.